This last Friday, searches across the internet for "Is Trump dead?" skyrocketed as the news spread that Trump had not been seen in over 24 hours. But that was days ago. We are now on day 6, as confirmed by the White House schedule, that Trump will have no televised appearance. Adam Cochran even writing that his schedule has never been clear for this long. To be completely honest, when I first saw the news and trends going viral, even my first thought was fake news, and this has to be another story being blown out of proportion, but I am now rethinking that. The first thing that grabbed my attention was the golfing photo that was shared over the weekend. I thought nothing of it until I saw a community note. The video being commonly shared alongside the photo is from last June, in essence making this singular photo the only physical evidence we have, and now even that is questionable given the video's authenticity. The second major thing is a bit retrospective, looking at old information but with a new perspective. As Trump's health has been extremely questionable these last 2 months, having to wear heavy concealer on his hands to hide bruising, visible swelling in the lower legs, both of which are likely symptoms of the circulation disorder he was diagnosed with in July, the lesser-known zigzag video, which is a time-lapse showing Trump failing to walk in a straight line, and his comments about wanting to make sure he makes it to heaven.
I think that's I want to try and get to heaven if possible. I'm hearing I'm not doing well. I hear I'm really at the bottom of the totem pole. But if I can get to heaven, this will be one of the reasons. Well, I think I saved a lot of lives with India.
Which at the time, I thought was a depressive quote pertaining to the Russian-Ukrainian war.
I just want to end it. I want to end it. You know, we're not losing American lives. We're not losing American soldiers. We're losing Russian and Ukrainian, mostly soldiers. Some people as missiles hit wrong spots or get lobbed into cities like Kiev and towns.
But now looking back, it does appear to be an acknowledgement of Father Time catching up to him. The third major thing, JD Vance's recent comments about taking over in the event of a terrible tragedy.
As vice president, you're a heartbeat away from the presidency, and your boss is one of the oldest people to ever be sworn into office. You're one of the youngest people to ever be second in line. Are you ready to assume the role of commander-in-chief, and why should Americans trust you to lead the country?
Well, I've gotten a lot of good on-the-job training over the last 200 days, but also say that the president is in incredibly good health. He's got incredible energy. And while most of the people who work around the president of the United States are younger than he is, I think that we find that he actually is the last person who goes to sleep. He's the last person making phone calls at night, and he's the first person who wakes up and the first person making phone calls in the morning. So yes, things can always happen. Yes, terrible tragedies happen. But I feel very confident the President of the United States is in good shape, is going to serve out the remainder of his term and do great things for the American people. And if, God forbid, there's a terrible tragedy, I can't think of better on-the-job training than what I've gotten over the last 200 days.
Could this just be the worst possible timing of all time? Sure. But Vance isn't a trustworthy figure. And everything we know about him points to him being created, developed, and installed as a Manchurian candidate. But not to fall too far down the rabbit hole. Reagan Reese from the Daily Caller said that Trump gave her an interview over the weekend, but on further inspection, all that she's released since August 30th is transcripts, and I'm only going to believe a journalist as far as I can throw one. The parallel to the cover-up of Biden's health issues is stark, as Nick Fuentes highlights, also writing, if Joe Biden disappeared for an entire week like this, you know that every Trump supporter would be crashing out about it. Where is the consistency? Trump 2.0 has been a disappointment in literally every way, but nobody wants to admit it. And truth be told, at the time of writing this, there is very little coverage at all from anyone in the MAGA space covering the story. I will leave you with perhaps the most believable piece of evidence we have that Trump is at least still with us, is Aiden Ross, who was live streaming when this initial trend started.
All right.
Hey, what the fuck you over there sleeping on,
guys? I just got confirmed. President Trump is okay by a very close.
What happened with Trump?
Nothing. Literally, nothing's wrong.
Oh.
So we're good,
bro. So we gotta close up.
Yeah, this nigga ain't froze, bro.
I just got a text saying you want to come to the White House.
Saying he got confirmation from someone at the White House. There are the plain trusters, however, who I have increasingly come to find insufferable, who are blind to the fact that they are using the same rationale the left did for Joe Biden. Look, here's a photo of Trump. Problem solved.
So let me get this straight. The very same people who voted in a literal corpse are now alleging that our president, DJT, is no longer with us because he has been MIA for a weekend. The same wokety woke folks who elected a man that has likely been dead, since the mid-90s. Yeah, you see, this is the sort of thing that happens when you have an actual living, active president. A man who has been more transparent and more available for press than likely any other president before him, at least in modern day. When you have that sort of guy go MIA for a few hours, everybody freaks out. Turns out that the man was teeing off with the old grandkids. And he is very much alive. 3.5 more years. Enjoy.
Focused way too much on owning the libs and far too little on the realities of the health of the president. Now, truth be told, I would take him any day of the week over any of these deranged and sick leftists. The timeline on X was littered with countless tweets gloating about their desire and hopeful wishing that the news was true. One in particular with nearly 200,000 likes reading, "Liking Trump dead tweets, knowing he's a cockroach that can't be killed."
These people, they're evil.
Now, there definitely isn't enough information to definitively say one way or another, but I do think the preponderance of evidence points to there being at least some level of health issue occurring with Trump. And I think the reasonable question to be asking now is just how bad is his health? But this is to be expected of a society whose systems can somehow only generate geriatric candidates who require a cocktail of stimulants to perform the most basic of tasks. And even more displeasing is on the other side of the news drop is starving demons praying that the news is true. I think at the end of the day, JD Vance's chances of becoming president before 2028 has left ground zero. That is where I will leave it. Let me know your thoughts if I missed anything. And as always, I will see you guys in the comments. Peace.
Smash that like button.